Fact 1. Octopuses have 3 hearts. Octopuses are among the most fascinating creatures on Earth, and one of their most remarkable features is their cardiovascular system. Unlike humans, who have a single heart, octopuses have 3 hearts. 2 of these hearts are responsible for pumping blood to the gills, where oxygen is absorbed from the water. The 3rd heart pumps oxygen-rich blood to the rest of the body. What makes this even more interesting is how their hearts behave when the octopus moves. When an octopus swims, its main heart actually stops beating. This causes a temporary reduction in oxygen supply, which is why swimming is extremely exhausting for them. As a result, octopuses prefer crawling along the ocean floor instead of swimming long distances. Their blood is also different from ours. Instead of iron-based hemoglobin, octopus blood contains hemocyanin, which is copper-based. This gives their blood a blue color and makes it more efficient at transporting oxygen in cold, low-oxygen environments like the deep sea. This unique circulatory system is one reason octopuses are so intelligent and adaptable. Their efficient oxygen delivery supports complex brains and advanced problem-solving abilities. However, it also explains why octopuses have relatively short lifespans. The strain on their bodies, especially during reproduction, often leads to rapid aging and death shortly after mating. In short, the octopus 3-heart system is a perfect example of how evolution creates highly specialized solutions for survival in extreme environments. Fact 2. Bananas are technically berries. Most people assume strawberries are berries and bananas are not. In botanical terms, the opposite is true. Bananas are classified as berries, while strawberries are not considered true berries at all. The scientific definition of a berry is based on how the fruit develops from a flower. A true berry forms from a single flower with 1 ovary and typically contains seeds inside the flesh. Bananas meet all these criteria. They develop from 1 flower, have a single ovary, and contain seeds, although modern bananas have tiny, undeveloped seeds due to selective breeding. Strawberries, on the other hand, have their seeds on the outside. Each of those small yellow dots is actually an individual fruit called an achene. The red part we eat is just enlarged plant tissue, not the fruit itself. This disqualifies strawberries from being true berries. Bananas also have an interesting agricultural history. Almost all bananas sold today are clones of a single variety called the Cavendish banana. This makes them extremely vulnerable to disease, because a single pathogen could potentially wipe out entire plantations worldwide. From a nutritional standpoint, bananas are rich in potassium, vitamin B6, and fiber. Their berry classification doesn't change their health benefits, but it does show how misleading everyday language can be compared to scientific definitions. So next time someone tells you strawberries are berries, you'll know the botanical truth is far more surprising. Fact 3. Your brain uses about 20% of your energy. The human brain is one of the most energy-demanding organs in the body. Although it makes up only about 2% of your total body weight, it consumes approximately 20% of your daily energy intake. This energy is required to maintain billions of neurons that constantly communicate through electrical and chemical signals. Even when you're resting or sleeping, your brain remains highly active, regulating breathing, heart rate, memory consolidation, and subconscious thought processes. Unlike muscles, the brain cannot store energy. It relies on a continuous supply of glucose and oxygen. That's why low blood sugar can quickly lead to confusion, dizziness, or fatigue. Intense mental activity doesn't burn calories in the same way exercise does, but it significantly increases energy demand. This high energy usage also explains why the human brain evolved to be so efficient. Neural pathways are optimized to minimize energy waste, and the brain prioritizes essential functions when energy is scarce. Interestingly, children's brains consume even more energy relative to their size, which is why proper nutrition is critical during development. As we age, brain energy consumption slowly declines, which may contribute to cognitive aging. In short, your brain is constantly working at full capacity, making it one of the most powerful and energy-hungry systems in the human body. Fact 4. Space is completely silent. In movies, space is filled with dramatic explosions and loud engine noises. In reality, space is completely silent. Sound requires a medium, such as air, water, or solid material, to travel. Space is a vacuum, meaning there are no particles to carry sound waves. This means that even the most violent explosion in space would produce no sound at all. Astronauts rely entirely on radio communication, which transmits electromagnetic waves rather than sound waves. Inside spacecraft, sound exists normally because the cabins are filled with air. However, once outside, silence dominates. This extreme quietness can be psychologically challenging for astronauts during spacewalks. Some space agencies convert electromagnetic signals from space into sound for scientific analysis. These are often called space sounds, but they are artificial translations, not actual noise. The silence of space is one of its most unsettling features and a powerful reminder that space is fundamentally hostile to human senses and survival. Fact 5. Honey never spoils. Honey is one of the only foods on Earth that never spoils. Archaeologists have discovered pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that were over 3,000 years old and still edible. This incredible longevity is due to honey's unique chemical composition. Honey has very low water content, which prevents bacteria and microorganisms from surviving. It is also highly acidic and contains natural hydrogen peroxide, creating an environment that kills microbes. Bees play a crucial role in this process. By fanning their wings, they evaporate moisture from nectar, transforming it into honey. Enzymes added by bees further stabilize the substance. As long as honey is stored in a sealed container and kept away from moisture, it can last indefinitely. If honey crystallizes, it hasn't gone bad. It can be restored by gently warming it. Honey's durability made it extremely valuable throughout human history, used not only as food, but also as medicine and a preservative. Fact 6. Humans share about 60% of DNA with bananas. At first glance, humans and bananas seem to have absolutely nothing in common. One is a complex, thinking organism, the other is a simple fruit. Yet scientists estimate that humans share about 60% of their DNA with bananas. This fact often sounds shocking, but it becomes much clearer once you understand what DNA similarity really means. DNA is essentially a set of instructions for how cells function. Many of these instructions are extremely basic and universal. For example, all living organisms need to perform fundamental tasks such as converting energy, repairing cells, and replicating DNA. The genes responsible for these basic processes are shared across many forms of life. When scientists say humans share DNA with bananas, they are not talking about traits like appearance, intelligence, or behavior. Instead, they are referring to shared cellular functions. The genes involved in cell division, energy metabolism, and basic chemical reactions are very similar across plants, animals, and even fungi. This shared DNA highlights a key idea in biology. All life on Earth evolved from a common ancestor. Over billions of years, evolution modified these basic genetic building blocks into the vast diversity of life we see today. Humans and bananas simply took very different evolutionary paths. Understanding shared DNA also helps scientists in medicine and genetics. Many human diseases are studied using simpler organisms like yeast, plants, or fruit flies because the core genetic mechanisms are surprisingly similar. So while you are obviously not part banana, this fact is a powerful reminder that all life on Earth is deeply interconnected at the molecular level. Fact 7. The Eiffel Tower grows in summer. The Eiffel Tower is one of the most famous structures in the world, and yet many people don't realize that its size changes throughout the year. During hot summer months, the Eiffel Tower can grow up to 15 centimeters taller due to thermal expansion. Thermal expansion is a basic physical property of most materials, including metal. When metal heats up, its atoms begin to vibrate more intensely. This causes the material to expand slightly. Since the Eiffel Tower is made of over 18,000 iron parts, even tiny expansions add up to noticeable changes in height. In colder temperatures, the opposite happens. The metal contracts, causing the tower to shrink back down. These changes are completely normal and were carefully accounted for by the engineers who designed the tower in the late 19th century. Gustav Eiffel and his team understood that temperature fluctuations could affect the structure. The tower's flexible design allows it to expand and contract without causing damage. Even strong winds can cause the tower to sway slightly, sometimes by several centimeters. This phenomenon is not unique to the Eiffel Tower. Bridges, railways, and skyscrapers all expand and contract with temperature changes. That's why expansion joints are built into large structures. The Eiffel Tower's seasonal growth is a perfect example of how physics quietly shapes the world around us, even in iconic human-made landmarks. Fact 8. Sharks existed before trees. Sharks are often seen as modern predators, but they are actually far older than most life on land. Sharks have existed for more than 400 million years, while the first trees appeared around 350 million years ago. This means sharks were already swimming in Earth's oceans long before forests covered the land. At the time sharks first evolved, the planet looked very different. Most life existed in the oceans, and land was largely barren. One reason sharks have survived for so long is their highly efficient design. Their skeletons are made of cartilage instead of bone, making them lighter and more flexible. Their keen senses, including the ability to detect electrical signals from other animals, make them exceptional hunters. Sharks have also proven extremely adaptable. Over millions of years, they evolved into thousands of different species, ranging from small deep-sea sharks to massive whale sharks. Despite surviving multiple mass extinctions, sharks are now threatened by human activity. Overfishing, habitat destruction, and finning have caused dramatic population declines. The fact that sharks existed before trees serves as a powerful reminder of their resilience and how quickly human actions can endanger even the most ancient species on Earth. Fact 9. Your stomach gets a new lining every few days. The human stomach contains some of the strongest acid found in nature. Hydrochloric acid in the stomach is powerful enough to break down meat, bones, and kill harmful bacteria. Yet your stomach doesn't digest itself. The reason is surprisingly simple. It constantly renews itself. The stomach lining is replaced approximately every 3 to 4 days. Specialized cells produce a thick layer of mucus that protects the stomach walls from acid damage. Beneath this layer, new cells are constantly forming to replace old or damaged ones. If this renewal process failed, stomach acid would begin to erode the stomach wall, leading to ulcers or internal bleeding. Certain factors, such as chronic stress, excessive alcohol consumption, or bacterial infections, can disrupt this protective system. This rapid regeneration makes the stomach one of the most resilient organs in the human body. It also explains why minor stomach damage can heal relatively quickly compared to other tissues. The stomach's ability to destroy food while protecting itself is a remarkable example of biological balance and efficiency. Fact 10. There are more possible chess games than atoms in the universe. Chess may seem like a simple board game, but mathematically, it is unimaginably complex. The number of possible chess games is known as the Shannon number, estimated to be around 10 to the power of 120. To put this into perspective, scientists estimate there are about 10 to the power of 80 atoms in the observable universe. This means there are more possible chess games than atoms in existence. This complexity arises because each move creates new possibilities. After just a few moves, the number of potential game paths explodes exponentially. No computer, no matter how powerful, can calculate every possible game. Instead, chess engines rely on evaluation systems, pattern recognition, and probability. Even artificial intelligence like AlphaZero learns chess not by brute force, but by playing millions of games against itself. The sheer scale of chess possibilities is a stunning example of how simple rules can create infinite complexity, a concept that appears throughout mathematics, physics, and even life itself.